A couple of years ago, one of my really good friends, who also happens to be a psychologist, woke up in the middle of the night with her heart pounding, her chest hurting, feeling like she was dying. She rushed to the emergency room thinking that she was maybe having a heart attack or something, only to be told by the ER doctors that she was having a panic attack. She felt a little embarrassed at the time. She was a psychologist after all. Shouldn't she know that she was having a panic attack? But that is why panic attacks can be so scary, because they do feel like they're life-threatening, like you're losing control, and oftentimes they have very similar symptoms than having a heart attack. It's actually pretty common for people to go to the emergency room thinking that they're having a heart attack or some other kind of cardiac event, when in reality what they're experiencing is a panic attack. Hi, I'm Dr. Jessica Borshak. I'm a clinical psychologist in California. I work every day with clients experiencing panic attacks, panic disorder, agoraphobia, all of that fun stuff. And I'm here to help you understand why your body and mind are doing the things that they do, so you can get back to living the life that you want. So in this video, I'm going to go over with you what the signs of a panic attack are, the symptoms of them, how long they typically last, so that you can have a clear idea if it happens to you. We're just looking at the definition in the DSM-5, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, the book that I use to diagnose my clients. What it says about a panic attack is that a panic attack is an intense surge of fear or discomfort that usually peaks within a couple of minutes and eventually subsides. So it's something that doesn't hang around for a really long period of time. We're talking maybe 2 to 10 minutes. Though you might be feeling some of the effects such as exhaustion, kind of that fatigue after a big adrenaline rush for a little while afterwards. Now, to qualify as a panic attack, you need to have 4 or more of the following symptoms: heart palpitations, pounding in your chest, a feeling like there's pressure or squeezing in your chest. You can see why some people think it's a heart attack. Rapid heart rate, sweating, tingling in your arms, shaking, so you might find that your legs or your whole body is just having tremors. Sensations of shortness of breath. This can often show up as feeling like you can't get enough breath in, like your lungs can't fully expand all the way, or sometimes people describe almost a sensation like having an egg stuck in your throat, and people might in response keep trying to swallow to kind of make that sensation go away. Now, it's important to remember that even if you feel like you can't breathe, a panic attack shouldn't close your airways. If that does happen, then you need to go to the emergency room because you're having some type of allergic reaction. But a panic attack only makes it feel like you can't breathe, or like you can't take a full kind of clear breath. This can oftentimes be the result of tension in the body that holds everything in, makes it hard for your diaphragm to expand, makes it hard for you to take a full breath, and often leads to a lot of tension through your throat and neck, which again makes it feel like your breath is restricted in some kind of way. Some people might experience nausea, dizziness, stomach pains, feeling like they're going to be sick. Oftentimes clients might feel lightheaded or dizzy. This can often be because if we feel short of breath, we end up sucking in a lot more air, which increases our CO2 levels and kind of induces hyperventilation, which makes it more likely that we're going to faint. The good news is, though, if you do faint, as long as you don't hit your head too hard, all that will happen is your body takes back over and you go back to breathing normally, and eventually you wake up. Some people may experience fears that they're going crazy, that they're losing control, that they're dying. Panic attacks cause really intense levels of fear and a sense of being out of control or something really scary or like doom-filled about to happen. You may experience chills or hot flashes through your entire body, feeling your skin go flushed or tingly in some way. And one of the symptoms that can be a little bit difficult for people to kind of describe is this sense of derealization or depersonalization. And these sensations often feel like if you're at a music venue and maybe you've been having a couple of drinks and the music's really loud and like blaring and you're kind of overwhelmed and you just feel like you're moving at a different speed as the rest of the world. You're kind of a little bit disoriented. Maybe you feel out of sync with everything that's going on around you, or you feel out of touch with your own body. So you might feel almost like you're having like an out-of-body experience, like you're not fully grounded in your body. These can be hard to describe, but they are common symptoms of panic attacks. So in order for it to be officially classified as having a panic attack, you need to have at least 4 of those sensations or symptoms that are occurring. Sometimes they happen all at once, sometimes they kind of build on each other, one after the other. The important thing to remember is that panic attacks can't last forever. They're an incredibly intense feeling of emotion, and it takes your body a lot of energy to express and make you feel that level of intensity. So it can't last forever. Now, panic attacks can be triggered by a lot of different things. Sometimes they can be triggered by very specific causes. So think of, almost getting in a car accident and that being really scary. That fear might trigger a panic attack. Or if you are afraid of certain things, let's say you have a specific phobia, you might have a panic attack in response to being around that thing. So being on a plane, being in an elevator, being around snakes or spiders. Panic attacks can also feel seemingly random or triggered by absolutely nothing. That's why sometimes panic attacks can be really scary, because we don't always know the cause of them or the specific thing that triggered it. And so it kind of feels like at any moment, your body can kind of just betray you and experience this really intense level of fear. Oftentimes, for example, people become really afraid of having a panic attack while operating a vehicle or operating heavy machinery, doing something where if they felt like they were out of control, they might accidentally harm someone. So it's really common when I see clients who come into my office. One of the things that they tend to avoid is driving on highways or something with big overpasses or really busy environments, because they're afraid that if they have a panic attack, they won't be able to easily get off of the freeway and they might end up hurting someone or themselves. The good news is that just because you have one panic attack doesn't mean that you'll continue to have panic attacks after that. Sometimes they can just be one-off experiences. Even if that's the case, you can still go to therapy and develop some skills and strategies, and we'll discuss that in a separate video of what you might do to limit the chances you have a panic attack or to limit the intensity of a panic attack when it does show up, so you can kind of ride those sensations a little bit easier and be able to feel a little bit more in control. Similarly, just because you have a panic attack once does not mean that you are going to meet criteria for panic disorder. In order to meet criteria for panic disorder, for at least 1 month, you have to have had at least one panic attack. But the more important point of it is that you become consumed with worry and fear around having more panic attacks. So the panic attack is just kind of the initial part of panic disorder, but the really scary part or the really anxiety-provoking part is fear that you're going to have another panic attack. In addition, what people often do in response to that fear is they begin to avoid situations that they think might trigger the panic attack or that they might be scared to have a panic attack in. So, for example, driving. So if that's going on for 1 month, you're finding your world getting smaller and smaller as you start avoiding different situations because you're afraid you might have a panic attack, then it might be time to talk to someone and reach out to a mental health professional who can walk you through the different steps and strategies to build skills so that worry around panic attacks doesn't consume your life. Panic attacks can very easily seem like they are the most terrifying experience in the world. I've had them before. They are definitely not fun. But the truth is, panic attacks on their own aren't going to kill you. Unless, you run into oncoming traffic. I know panic attacks can feel like the scariest thing in the entire world. That fear, that surge of panic, that's a real feeling. But it's important to remember that if you keep breathing, keep moving through the moment, the panic attack will eventually subside. And there are evidence-based proven strategies to help people reduce the chances of having a panic attack and making it easier when you do have a panic attack so it doesn't just take over. If you find this video helpful, please share it with anyone who you think might find it useful, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll have a couple of videos coming up all along strategies and skills for managing panic attacks.